destroying everything.
It's not destroying. It's making something new.
Hello everyone, welcome to Dumb People vs. Movies, episode 38.
Yeah. Do you know what they say about episode 38?
Oh, man.
What do they say?
It's the first one Wiley's been on in a while.
True. It's good to have you back.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now that we're done with that, this week we are talking about Alex Garland's second directorial movie, Annihilation, starring Natalie Portman and Tina Turner. No, not Tina Turner. What's her name? Oh my
Tessa
God.
Thompson?
Tessa
Tina
Thompson.
Turner.
Tessa Thompson.
You mean Timmy
Tessa-
Turner?
Thompson,
Tova.
Gina Rodriguez, and someone else. I forgot her name. But
Uh,
oh, and Oscar Isaac. But yeah. So we just watched that. We literally just got back from the theater.
It is, what,
It's
10:30 right now?
It's a science
Almost.
fiction movie, and we're excited. Well, I think we're all really excited to talk about it. So let's
Definitely.
just tell you something.
This is going to be a really interesting one. So,
But yeah. So before we get to that, Blake, do you have a news story for us?
big news.
Yeah. Josh, I guess this broke today, but Josh Whedon says Josh Whedon exited the Batgirl, and says the reason why is because he didn't have a story. So
Yeah.
Huh.
that's all.
So, like, he didn't have a story for the movie?
Yeah.
And he just, like...
Well, that's probably the excuse they're giving. I have a couple theories. One of them, it's maybe because Justice League was kind of bad, and he was the director, I guess, of it, technically.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon should just stop making superhero movies.
Another one, and I think this one is maybe more likely, is like Joss Whedon's taking some flack since like all the sexual assault stuff has come out. Because, I mean, he's kind of a weird dude. But, now you have to go read about it, because he's, I don't know. But, anyway, so that, and then also they probably want a female director for it.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I mean, DC announced they're definitely getting a female director for it now, but they probably wanted that. That's probably why he's leaving. But, I mean, who knows if this movie will even happen anyway. It's DC.
Yeah, that's true.
We talked about this a lot on the last podcast. We talked about
But never fear. Suicide Squad 2 will come.
Will it? By the same director?
Okay, but
No.
if it does, though, like, are you actually excited?
No, that was my sarcastic voice. I know it sounds the same, but
Yeah, it probably won't. I don't know. Who
Wait,
knows
is it the same director, like Sean asked?
We just said...
I hope
it's
not.
not.
David Ayer's too good for that.
It's not.
It's not?
What do you mean he's too good for that? He made
Well,
David
who's the
Ayer's
director?
too good for that.
he made some other trash movie this year. Oh, he made Bright.
Oh.
Okay, well, that was
Oh.
better than Suicide Squad. So
Barely.
Was it
It's
even
still not-
good?
It's not that
no,
good.
it's not that good.
Yeah.
Well, he did Fury. He did
Gavin
Fury,
O'Connor.
so he
Oh,
had-
oh my
he
gosh.
really had Fury.
No, the guy that's doing Suicide Squad 2 did Warrior. And The Accountant.
Gavin O'Connor.
Yeah.
Huh.
Might have some hope yet.
But then
Yeah.
again,
I'm not
No,
excited.
I have.
I mean, who knows? I just don't know.
Anyway, Batgirl, Joss Whedon leaving. I mean, I feel like that would have been bigger news in like 2012 when Joss Whedon was at his peak after he made it the Avengers.
yeah,
But, I mean, now.
Do we need
Okay.
a Batgirl film?
no.
Yeah.
Now we don't even have a Batman movie.
Exactly.
And this-
So why are we focusing on a Batgirl film?
We don't even have a real Batman character, just a
We
show.
don't even know who the actor is going to be playing in the next movie.
Well,
So
we all know a man can't really fulfill his true potential and destiny until a woman makes that happen first for him. makes the first step for him. In this case, Batgirl.
But it's Batgirl. She's like a kid compared to
I know, but I'm just saying, who knows what they're thinking with this.
That
one.
didn't stop. That didn't stop the animated show.
If you've seen the Killing Joke movie,
Yeah.
happens in the movie, so. But they're not. But anyway, who cares?
I mean, who wouldn't be attracted to Batman? So
Is Volume 2?
There you go.
I think we should just get into Annihilation because I
Me
don't
too.
care.
Yeah, we're done with that. Let's make this short.
Make this short and sweet.
Alright.
So here we go. Annihilation. Insert trailer here.
What do you think I do when you're away? You think I'm out in the garden pining, looking up at the sky? Why aren't you here?
I gotta leave a day early.
Your husband's here.
Let me see him.
He's extremely ill.
You have to tell me where he was, what he was doing.
It was his decision to go in. It's something they termed the Shimmer. We've sent in drones and teams of people, but nothing comes back.
But something has.
You're a biologist. You served in the military.
If I knew what happened, I could save his life.
The boundary's getting bigger, it's expanding. We're talking cities, states.
You need to know what's inside. So do I. It's beautiful.
Check this out.
It's like they're stuck in a continuous mutation.
Anything interesting in there?
No. Sharks have teeth like that.
It's not possible. You can't crossbreed different species. What is it?
The soldiers on the last expedition. They went crazy, or something in here killed them.
Something's come through the fence.
Through the fence?
We have to go back.
I can't go back.
We can camp here tonight.
And now we're back from the trailer. Hopefully, Weston, if
Yeah.
you edit it.
Nah, I'm just not in the trailer.
You don't have to. I don't.
No, I'm gonna.
At least add the music.
I'll
It's
add
just a
it.
joke.
No, I done with
It's
Black
just a joke
Panther. It's
now.
pretty easy. So, anyways,
Well, who wants to get us started? Or does somebody want to kind of summarize it or read the summary?
it's hard to summarize it.
It is. Maybe somebody read the summary. Pull up the summary.
Oh yeah,
I
here
have
it is.
it.
I have it. I have the
Alright.
letterbox.
Well, actually, basically, if to summarize it, it's just there's just this weird phenomenon that's been encountered that's on Earth. I guess where was it on Earth again?
A lighthouse.
It was in America.
Oh yeah, in America,
In Louisiana.
Yeah.
probably.
Okay, yeah, and so
It was in a swamp.
actually, no, I'm not good at this. Someone else can do it.
Let me just read what letterbox has. A biologist signs up for a dangerous secret expedition into a mysterious zone where the laws of nature don't apply.
Basically, yeah.
Pretty much.
Who wants to go first?
All right.
What, me?
Yes. Who wants to go first on this?
I can go home.
Who wants to start?
What do you think, Wiley?
Let's see. I thought this movie was great. I thought it balanced, thriller and sci-fi, perfectly. Yeah, I mean, I think there are maybe a problem or two, but overall, it was just such a fun movie to watch, and I felt like I was on the edge of my seat the whole movie. And I would look over at Weston and we would both be like, "Oh my god, what? What just happened?"
Or just
Yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah.
Kind of reaction.
Well, yeah. What the heck?
Yeah. That it?
Yeah, that's it. Go for
Okay,
it.
all right. So I'll start, yeah, because looking at the trailers, it looked cool, but I was thinking, it's probably not going to be that great. But boy, was I wrong. No,
Yeah.
this movie was awesome, and it was a really great film. It's man, there's there's some like 2001 level stuff right here. Like it,
Some
just, especially towards the end. Towards the end, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Like just like what like weird acid trip kind of stuff. I'm like
acid trip. You know what that's like?
no.
It's pretty good.
Anyways, no. I thought all the characters were good. I think there's some cliche-ness in the characters a little bit. I'm not sure if you guys noticed. Like, oh, there's the leader, and then there's the crazy person, the chick or whatever.
The wild
and
card,
you got the nice person. I'll get to that later because it's a spoiler. But it's just, and then Natalie Portman being the one who's more reasonable, more logical with things, and you know, the main character type of figure. But overall, I thought it was executed very uniquely, very, very artsy in a way. But it's just more like, this is why I love sci-fi movies, because they go in these kind of directions, and I love this. It always fascinates me, and no matter how freaky it gets. So.
Yeah, and without taking too much time, like, I think I found a parallel between that and Dunkirk when it would say like the lighthouse, or you know what I mean, like the air, the land, the water. You know what I mean? How it would give like the subtitles, or not subtitles, it would be like the lighthouse. And
I see what you're saying.
I see how Danny's like, well,
I don't think so, but I know what you're talking about. Though.
If you're saying that there's title cards, I mean,
that's all it is. It's basically just telling you where the acts are.
Yeah.
But I mean, like
Dunkirk,
movies like that, and I enjoyed that.
Especially when there's like a lot of tension build, kind of like in Dunkirk.
I mean, the main thing is that it just does suspense like really well.
Yeah,
very.
Especially combined with the visuals.
Yeah.
What do you think, Richie? I'll go on for that.
Yeah, I really liked it. Just like the whole like mystery of it, they really held that well through like the entire movie, even through the end. Which I did not think that they were gonna like capitalize on all the tension they built. Yeah. But
like I thought they would like give some kind of like closure.
Yeah,
I was worried about how the movie's going to end because you have no idea.
Yeah.
But once it gets to the end, then you're like,
I still
holy
have
crap,
no idea.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, and we'll get to that in spoilers. So, anyways, who wants?
Blake, who's not on, Blake, you can go.
Yeah, I really liked it also. I did have some problems with it that we can get into in spoilers, but overall, it did do what it was going for. I mean, it was going for a suspenseful ride, kind of acid trippy, like stuff. It just wanted to keep you on your toes, and it definitely did. And I do think there was some boring parts, especially at the beginning, because it takes a while for them to actually get into the forest.
I didn't think any of it was boring.
Maybe a little slow.
Like when you take a look at the boring parts in Blade Runner 2049, and then you look at the boring parts in this, it's like nothing compared.
There were too many flashback scenes.
Okay, yeah.
That was unnecessary.
A little bit too much flashback.
Like, why would you flash back to the same scene more than once?
Yeah.
What?
Like,
we've already seen it.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the point. Okay, but okay. Point.
But that's a very minor problem.
That's fair, I guess.
Yeah, it's like that's like barely anything.
Yeah, it doesn't really affect the movie that much.
Don,
well, it does.
Well, you want to keep going, Blake?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Don Paul's here, one of an OG member. He's back. What do you think?
It definitely made me uncomfortable. In a good way.
That's another word for it.
That's what the movie achieved, and that's what I love about it. I love the cinematography, especially when they get to the zone. And for any viewers out there who like know the Stalker the video game franchise Stalker, I definitely got a lot of good feelings that reminded me of those games, which are roughly based off a movie too, directed by Andrei Tarkovsky. But basically about the concept of you have this zone, you have this radius field, which inside is full of whacked out, unexplained anomalies that go.
I didn't even make that connection.
Now that you mention it, I can totally see it now. Yeah.
No, I've actually seen Stalker, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and so
I didn't make that connection until you said that.
Yeah, that's, and to me that's a good thing, because I love that concept from the stuff. So to see this kind of adaptation, which reminded me of it, but of course it's, has its own differences, but I still loved it. And I think the acting was really good from Natalie Portman's part. And who's the guy that plays Poe Dameron?
Oscar Isaac.
I think he did
He's
a good
incredible.
job. But so yeah. Overall, I loved it.
I loved it. I love this. I love this type of sci-fi. I won't say I love all sci-fi. I mean, people that consider Star Wars sci-fi, I mean, yeah, but I think this is a different type of sci-fi.
Because Star Wars is always kind of like the same formula. So.
It's more fantasy than anything else.
Well, and it's a dark, grittier feel, because like when it comes to sci-fi, well, the unknown in its essence.
Yeah.
In most cases, it's gonna be dark. We're gonna end up finding something that we don't expect, and in most cases, it's gonna do more harm than good, probably, in that kind of form. And I like that kind of sci-fi.
And I also got a lot of like Arrival vibes.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite sci-fi movies. And
easily. Yeah.
Well, I think that's why I don't think the beginning is boring, because the setup is. I think this movie is, well, at least the director was inspired. Obviously, there's a lot of homages to a lot of movies, and I don't know if he did this on purpose, but the setup to this movie is very similar to the setup of Arrival, where there's like this woman scientist or / teacher, and then they. Yeah, and well, I don't know if the military in Arrival, but anyway, there's this teacher, and they have to go get her, and they they need her help because she has she's an expert in her field or whatever. Amy Adams is like a linguist, but she's a biologist. But the same thing, right? Like going to see the unknown with this female scientist. It's very similar to Arrival. Of course, Arrival's based more in, I wouldn't say reality, but it's more grounded, I think, than this one is, or this one becomes. But for me, overall, I really like this movie a lot. I like sci-fi that is abstract and that it doesn't have to tell you. This movie doesn't tell you what's going on. I don't think at any point in the movie. It's kind of like you gotta have to figure it out by yourself. It'll give you little hints, like maybe it'll lead you in the right direction, but it's not gonna tell you what's going on at any point. And I like that. And I think
it's not going to tell you, oh, this creature is this, and it came from this. And,
yeah.
But yeah.
But like it doesn't tell you. It doesn't have any like flashback scene where it shows you where this thing came from in the first, or something dumb like that. I think that's the random sign. I think that's the problem with the Alien prequels that Ridley Scott's doing now. He's trying to explain Alien. And I think that's the beauty of Alien in the first place, is that you don't know where this monster came from.
That's kind of the thing about prequels, and give or take whether you like that or not. Like, because a lot of people do like, explanations or knowing about the world building or knowing more about this and that, and that's fine if you like it. But for some people, they kind of like more it being kept a mystery. So, same with the Star Wars prequels, they explore more of the lore, more of the characters, such as Darth Vader, aka Anakin, that kind of thing. And like you said, Alien did that too with its prequel films now, so, but, I mean...
I don't mind, especially the Alien prequels, I don't mind. I actually kind of like Prometheus and I like Covenant. But I do get what Danny's saying, because most of the time, if they go back into the prequels, we can create something in our mind of where this thing came from better than what the movies will do.
Yeah.
So it kind of ruins it kind of ruins our own headcanon.
Yeah.
In a way.
I think that's the beauty of. I think that's why I'm drawn to sci-fi so much. It's because sci-fi in itself, like someone who's creating a science fiction story or something, has to think. And it's like original. You have to think of something that's like not possible, or like. That the human mind thinks it's not possible right now. You know what I mean? It has to be
think
creative.
Of something that no one's thought of before.
Yeah.
There's so much you can do with sci-fi. It's so it can be really creative.
So sci-fi, like an author or a director of sci-fi, that gives you the opportunity to think of your own things that's going on in a movie, and not just telling you. I think that's the beauty of sci-fi, not only as someone who's creating it, but someone who's viewing it as well.
Yeah.
Because I've watched a lot of stuff about like 2001. I know Weston brought that up earlier, and because Kubrick's always said, like, people would always ask him, like, what does the ending mean, or like, what does this movie mean? And he's like, I don't think it has one specific meaning. It's whatever it means, whatever you think it means. That's what it means. And I think that's the beauty of good sci-fi, is like you can draw from it from whatever you want. You know
That's
what
what makes it fun too, because now,
Yeah.
like with Space Odyssey, even still up to this day, there's people always saying like theorizing the movie and the ending and go like, well, I
Yeah.
think it means this and that, and I think that was the whole point of why Kubrick made that film, is because it's fun, and I think it's really
Yeah.
interesting. It's very thought provoking at the same time. So.
We didn't mention this earlier, but we should say this movie is based on a book
Yeah.
by, say this guy's name, Jeff Vandermeer. I don't know where he's from or anything, but it's based on a trilogy of books. But I was reading some review, and the guy said it's barely based on the books. It's kind of just like a skeleton. They don't really go by the books or anything. It just kind
What's
of
the book's name?
Like the idea of this.
I think it's called Annihilation.
It's the same
Yeah,
name.
I think it's called
Yeah.
Annihilation. Yeah, so I think we all love this movie. Okay, I don't want to say that, but I think we all enjoyed the movie enough. Oh, wait, Richie, you didn't go. What do you think?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he went
was
over.
thoughts. He really
Yeah.
liked it too.
All right.
He's an American also.
Spoilers.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can go to spoilers. Before we go to spoilers, though, I remember this because this report came out a few months ago, and it was annoying me because it's on Twitter, and I remember because like last year, they test screened it for audiences, and it got like a poor test screening score. I mean, you can see why a lot of audiences wouldn't like this kind of movie, you know? No.
Yeah, I can see it.
Higher intelligence? No. Well, let's see. This article, it reminded me of it, but I remember because the producer of the movie was saying they were like Paramount was worried about releasing this in theaters in the first place because they were worried it was too intellectual for most audiences.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to like dumb it down. But there was another producer that took the director's side and like, no, I'm not changing anything to it. So luckily, the movie we got, they didn't change anything because they really wanted.
Good. I don't think they should have.
I mean, it's kind of you can see the studio side, like they want to make money. Obviously, that's the reason they make movies. But I'm glad they did. I mean, from a creative side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this movie's also not going to make any money, so.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, that's all.
Same with Blade Runner. Yeah.
Yeah, same with Blade Runner.
It's like,
Yeah,
why is
I
it
mean-
always these kind of movies not making money? Yet they're like the better movies compared to like most money-making films, which is really just
like the mine, like $20.
because people, I guess people just don't want to think when they go see a movie, so they always just want to turn off their brain and just have a good time, and that's fine and all, but
that's fine. Yeah, I mean,
people prefer brainless
most of us-
things like
I
superhero
watch-
films.
I know I watch movies. I mean, some people, I don't blame them. Some people just want to watch movies to escape reality. Escape is, but I mean, I watch movies for, other reasons just for that, but to each his own. So anyway, we can go to spoil. I just want to say I'm glad they didn't change anything.
Yeah.
And they director have his movie.
So how do you want to start? You guys want to say what your favorite part was?
Let's talk about what.
I want to start with the problem I was talking about.
All right.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Start
So
with films.
Richie and I were talking about this in the car, and I brought up that they were saying how getting to the coast and walking parallel to it to get to the edge was the best way to get out. Why didn't they just start on the coast and completely skip the dangerous forest that everyone else died in?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
these people are supposed to be really smart scientists.
Yeah.
And they keep on sending the same party in over and over again with the same effect, and they don't change at all. I mean, they could have done it multiple ways.
I think that I didn't think about the coast thing. That's kind of a good point. I guess they could like come from around or something. I don't know, but well, I think the coast is still in the shimmer. I think that's the point.
Yeah. Well, the coast, but they could have come in from the coast
there's no
into
nature.
the shimmer from the coast. There's nothing there. It's just sand.
No, but I think like it's overshadowed. Like I think the shimmer goes into the ocean a little bit. I mean, yeah, I still see what you're saying. They could come in from the ocean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we're not really told we're not really told what they've done in the past or why do they like. Because they say 3 years. They've been trying this for 3 years. So we don't know all the various attempts they've done. We know the latest attempt was with that group of rangers or with Oscar Isaac's group. We know that was our latest attempt.
But we also do know that the very first attempt, even when the thing didn't even spread across the beachhead, when it was just locked on that tower, the guy who did went in disappeared.
Never came out. Yeah,
he never
we
came
hear
out.
about the guy who just was in the lighthouse.
I think it's just on their point of view, it could just be like no matter what direction you go from. But it does like you have all those creatures and swamps. Why risk all that time?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of sci-fi. You have to like. I think good sci-fi will help you suspend your disbelief more than bad sci-fi will when you're start like getting distracted by why they're doing this, why they're doing that. You know, I think for the most part, this one I kind of forgot about that, or at least once they start where they're actually in the forest.
Maybe they all thought it was just a good way to burn off.
But my main thought was like, if this literally happened now, like if this happened in today, I feel like they wouldn't even care about scientists. They would just be like, all right, let's just send like 200 soldiers in there and see what happens or something, or like
see what happens.
Of 200, let's send 1,000 in there, or like 10,000. You know what I mean? Like let's just fill the whole forest with people.
Yeah.
Or like let's have a line of people, or like.
Well, what year was this based in, though? Did it say?
It's future. It's near future, I think.
Okay.
But
things can change, but yeah, for now, I don't know.
Yeah, or like they should do the thing in well, it's like like it's like in the Bible, but other stuff like where they tie the rope, and then like someone dies, they just pull them out. I wonder why they don't do something like that. Because they don't. So
they didn't have a long enough rope.
Well, I don't know why they didn't just bomb the lighthouse.
From the air?
Yeah.
What if the streamer goes all the way to the sky?
Does it go to the atmosphere?
I think the streamer might go all the way to the sky.
Maybe.
Like to the
Yeah, we never really saw.
They never really explained this stuff.
Yeah.
Like the guy said on that review, the movie doesn't even give a tenth.
Oh yeah, so I was reading the review, or me and Sean were reading it, and this guy was like, we all thought the movie was like really weird, and this guy was saying, if you've read the books, go into this movie with a different mindset, because it's not even a tenth as weird as the books are. So I was like, dang, that kind of makes
sense. Oh my god.
So the books are weirder?
Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, it's not even a tenth as weird.
Wow. You gotta read the books.
Yeah.
Books
are always better, man. Books are always better.
I'm guessing the books are more like weirder in terms of like the animals that are in there, or like maybe the stuff that's happening to people, you know. So Blake, that was your major complaint with like why weren't they doing that?
Yeah, I mean like all these people, they're built up to be, I mean, extremely smart people, and they just keep on doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, it's the law of science or whatever. Like you can't keep on doing the same thing over and over. Or it's like they're insane because they keep on doing the same thing over and over again, expecting to get different results. I don't know. That was just my main problem. I know that for some people it would be a huge gripe, but especially whenever she got to the coast and there was literally nothing there, I was like, they could have saved themselves a whole lot of heartache and just gone on the coast, away from the forest where all these deadly creatures are.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the part. They don't know there's deadly creatures in there or anything. They don't know what's happening to these people.
But no one's come back though. That's the thing. They should just assume. They should just assume that something in there is dangerous.
Well, yeah, I agree. 3 years. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good.
That was just my main problem. But other than that, and that problem didn't really come up until she reached the coast, and then I was like, okay, this is like. Well, this would be really easy, I feel like.
No, I'll say my issue, and it's not really that big of a deal. Like I was saying earlier, I think some of the characters are kind of cliche in a sense.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, you got your captain, you got Natalie Portman, you know, the main character figure, you got the scientist, you got the crazy person. And of course, the crazy person does crazy things. The scientist is more the one who knows all the knowledge and is nice. And then you got the nicer woman in there, and of course she's the one who dies first because she's too nice, what's the word I'm looking for?
Naive.
Like that kind of personality. So of course she goes out first. So
I think there's two things.
But even then, it doesn't even bother me. The way what these characters went through and all that was done very uniquely. So it kind of faded away over time. I'm like, yeah, it's not even a big issue now thinking about it.
But it felt cliche at first, but no.
Yeah.
Like over time in the movie, you didn't get that.
Yeah, that's
I
yeah,
think,
basically.
well, I think it's pretty obvious that the director, with these, like, I know they kind of seem cliche, and maybe, I mean, nothing who's watching it, but I think he's definitely paying homage to previous movies that are like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I kind of got
Alien,
that too.
I mean, Alien is, this movie has a lot of Alien inspiration for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But not only, it's like other movies. I don't know. I know there's other movies like this. I got like maybe some instance like this kind of remind me of The Thing, especially when they're being attacked by stuff because they don't know what it is, you know, especially at the beginning. I got the vibes from The Thing, but just like classic horror movies like that, you know, where they're being attacked by things they don't know.
Even classic movies in general, like you're saying, there's definitely like a lot of Kubrick inspiration.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like it's actually a lot like
that bear thing. Oh,
yeah, that.
It's actually a lot like Predator. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
Predator would probably be. It would probably be the better comparison than Alien, because Predator is literally the exact same thing of how they don't know what's killing them and they're in the jungle also. I mean, like it's kind of the same.
I haven't seen Predator, but I know what it's about. And
but that bear creature though, with it having the voice of the
God, I could be that. They like ripped the neck out.
That scene was so uncomfortable.
Let me just say about that bear. If you guys haven't figured this out, so it's gonna be. I'm also gonna be jumping to the very end too of the movie where Natalie Portman and the thing that takes on the form of her husband now, the clone. When she embraced, and remember both of their eyes are lighting up at the very end. Remember after they killed the bear, they were talking about how they can hear the last cries, the screams of Shepard in that bear.
Yeah.
And the smart girl was like saying as if like the last bit of her memory, what's left of her memory, is in that bear. It's almost like the same thing with Natalie Portman and that whatever the hell that thing was at the very end when she pulled the incendiary grenade. I think it was an incendiary grenade.
Phosphorus.
Yeah.
Phosphorus grenade.
I think it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's almost like that thing put in a bit of herself into Portman's character. Lena? That's it, Lena.
Well,
before she
throughout this
before
film,
she ran.
Yeah, throughout this film, I know. Say, go ahead. No, finish.
Well, throughout the film, it's, you know, remember at the very beginning she's talking about like how the light refracts inwards or whatever. So basically, they're becoming part of the surroundings, and the surroundings becoming part of them. You know,
almost
what I mean?
like imitating, mirroring.
Yeah, imitating, mirroring. Yeah. So we see that. I think the first big example of that is with the bear. I think that's the one where you kind of realize like that's what's happening because the bear's using her voice basically, or the ending, the shriek, her scream at the very end.
So creepy.
Then that's when I started realizing like, okay, so the DNA is important because Natalie Portman's character. Then I don't remember if it's before or after when she tests her blood.
It's after.
Is it after where she tests her blood and the blood looks like
she tests into one like mutated and one normal.
Oh wait, no, it was before.
No, they're both shimmering. I think when they split.
It was before the bear attacked.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, because all four of them were still alive.
Because that's why they were tied up by that girl.
Yeah. So she tests them. They're both, her blood is shimmering. Then I kind of got the idea of like, because then that makes sense earlier where we see that in the video where the guy gets cut open and you see the little worm inside of him.
It never explained what that is either, and it's so creepy.
True. They don't explain what it is.
But they didn't actually see him afterwards, like stretch from torso and up.
Yeah. And his jaws like pushed forward, like really. Oh god, it's so creepy. It's a very gruesome movie.
Yes.
I really like that scene. I know I like. It is weird. It's like weird to watch, but I like watching it. You know.
But I'm still so fascinated.
Because you're a psychopath.
Okay. The other, I'm not sure if any of y'all really paid attention to this, but when she did get to the lighthouse, did you all notice the like demonic arrangements of the skeletons?
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
beach. Like, the arms were placed in certain order. You had the rib cages placed up here in the skulls at the very bottom. It was like, why? Like, who did that?
Yeah.
Like, that's I kept wondering, like, did one of the survivors go nuts and did that with, I don't know, or like, did that
I think it was the alien.
I think it's just
whatever they
was it like,
creatures.
did that full place become like a shrine, a temple to that being?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think
you wonder.
I think maybe the book has more answers to these questions we're asking, but in the movie itself, I kind of feel like it kind of feels like this whole shimmer is like one alien, and it's slowly like, expanding, and that's what makes sense with I think at the very ending where they're hugging, and you kind of see both of their eyes, and they both, because remember Speedy Wong, he's like, yeah, the whole the lighthouse burned down so that we don't have anything left of this alien or whatever. Nothing but ashes. And so they think it's all over. But then you see them hug at the end, you see their eyes, and both of them still have the shimmer in them to some very degree. And I don't know if it's just me, but their eyes definitely looked evil or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they did.
I think they're supposed to be interpreted as like probably demonic beings.
I don't know if it's demonic. I think it's just alien, like
just alien, really. Just like
because the whole movie, I don't know if for me, I didn't really assume the whole movie that this thing was evil. Or
I didn't either.
Evil until the very last embrace, when I realized, like, wait, maybe they are just trying to take over the world. Because it kind of initially it feels like this thing is expanding because it can't help itself. It's just like that's what it's supposed to do. But at the very end, it kind of seems like when they hug and I see their eyes, it kind of feels like they're doing it on purpose.
But it could also be like, it's like this thing is there, and he sees human society, and he's like, I'm not impressed. Like, he's just bored, so he's like, I'm gonna make a playground, and then Natalie Portman gets there, and he's just like, oh hey, and then starts messing around, imitating her, and then like, oh, why didn't I think of that? You were gonna put that grenade in my hand, pull it, and run off, and he just sits there like, okay, and then, because when he saw, like, it looked like he was hurt, and he's like touching everything.
Yeah.
But like, he didn't seem like he was in a rush.
Wait. So then, how is he Natalie at the end then?
Remember when they touch? Because we see
that's the part I was.
We see Oscar Isaac. Remember, we see his clone, and he's like talking to his clone on the camera, which is super weird.
That's weird.
So we know that the clone can take over his body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think in this case, Natalie Portman gets some of the clone's DNA in her when she leaves.
So like she's still overtaking her as well. Oh, okay.
Well, I think she's still in control, but she definitely has some of it in her.
Just like the bear.
Just like
with Shepard.
Yeah, just like the bear with Shepard, or with Oscar Isaac, with the clone that leaves. The clone still has some of Oscar Isaac in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, because he still looks like him and stuff like that. But
that has his memories.
And he was also talking about how her face kept on popping up, and that's how I figured out to go look for her. So that was probably the Oscar Isaac side of the clone.
That's another thing I didn't get. How close was her work where they lived to the shimmer?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because how did this guy, if they're far away, how did this guy walk all the way there or get there?
Well, remember they said the shimmer wasn't that big, right?
Well, yeah, it's probably I don't think it's that big.
Well, I mean, it's 6 days worth of travel, so it's pretty big.
But then again, the research facility, they all knew about what member made it out alive.
Yeah, so
that means he must have had leave after being detained and quarantined.
I think they know he made it out alive because he's back there now. Or did they? Unless they saw him walk out and didn't do anything.
But no. But then the lady, the main.
Yeah, the psychologist.
Yeah, she talked as if she we had one survivor though, but it's almost like she already knew that.
It does sound like that. I don't know. I don't know if they know that.
That's weird.
And why are the girls so mad about her being married to this guy?
I don't think it was mad. I think
it's a trust issue thing.
It was a trust issue.
No, but I mean, why didn't she trust them with that anyway?
I don't know. That's why
I feel like they wouldn't have cared, but she said they would have.
Well, I feel like they might have been like she has some emotional attachment to this, where they don't want it. Like
They don't want that
like
jeopardizing the mission.
yeah, they have like one mission. What if they thought like she was just gonna like look for her husband or something, or like
And jeopardize. That's why
do something to save
Gina
him.
Rodriguez
Yeah.
character was so paranoid because she thought like, you know, who is this guy? Your brother? Husband? Like, because and that was another interesting part. If you guys notice, when the bear did attack Shepard, when you saw from Natalie Portman's point of view, you saw that bear. But yet, when it showed the other characters look in that direction, there was nothing. Did you guys notice that?
Like initially?
Yeah, and then Rodriguez's character pointed that out later on too, saying none of us saw anything. None of us
They didn't
saw.
have night vision.
Yeah, but
Well, because we know they can see the bear because the Tessa Thompson shoots the bear at the end.
At the end.
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
just saying at first though.
Yeah.
No, because that just leads up to well, what's the crazy chick's name?
Gina I don't know.
Rodriguez.
Let me check her name.
Rodriguez, whoever. Like
It's
that,
like
it just
Anya
sets
or
up like that so
something.
that
Anya.
she'll be
Anya.
suspicious and thus go like, you know, did you lie about it or blah blah blah. So
Yeah, she kind of went
I
crazy.
think that's why they made it that way. So
That is kind of a
she'll be
mind
suspicious
though
of it.
for me. Like, I still didn't buy her going completely crazy, or like her motivations for going completely crazy.
Yeah,
Even though
She's
they-
got that thing living inside her. I mean,
But
that's
everybody
true.
had that.
Yeah,
And after seeing that video,
that's
she
true.
was probably
I get it, but like the way she does it, like why did she get like
Well,
tying
her
every-
character's
Plus,
crazy.
she's talk-
So
she has them all their mouths are closed, and she's still talking to them, expecting answers. It's weird.
Yeah.
well, some people just do that. When they
Yeah.
lose it.
Like, what are they gonna do? Scream for
It
help?
doesn't matter if you say anything or not. They'll assume
Yeah.
everything about you
yeah,
at
that's
that
true.
point.
But,
But like, okay, her death though. Oh my god.
Oh, jeez, that was horrible.
great scene. That might be my favorite. I don't know. I like the ending scene a lot. That one might be my favorite.
But when it like ripped off like half of her neck and face, oh gosh, that was brutal, man.
I think the ending scene is a little bit creepier.
That's
Just
the part
with it,
yeah.
mimicking. Just with it mimicking.
I
Like the
agree.
bear is scary visually, and it's scary that it has the voice. But this thing that's just like, just green, just like
and
a
the
green
music
blob.
too, really
human.
adding to creep factor.
It's so creepy.
Oh gosh, and like the imitation, but then all of a sudden it like doesn't imitate her.
Yeah. The
Like
attack- or
that's what
doesn't-
freaked
doesn't
me
let her-
out
Yeah.
when she went to hit it and then it hit her back and she fell immediately and it
Well,
just
isn't
kind
that
of
imitating her trying to hit him and him?
no. But then remember she fell down
Yeah.
immediately, but then it like slowly got down to where it looked like it was still imitating her.
Oh,
Huh, when she tried to leave the door, that was weird.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I
I'm
thought
like,
they
were
were
you
gonna, I
raping
thought
her
they
or
were gonna like
something?
merge into one or something.
oh yeah, I kind of thought that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was.
That's why this whole movie just made my skin crawl. And then
Disturbing.
I was thinking after like the first, what was it when they first got into the forest and she woke up and they were all talking about like days went by and we don't even remember like it.
Yeah.
Look, we've counted our rations and we've
We've been here for 4 days
like
already.
and I'm like thinking, you know, I feel like I'm drunk right now watching this.
But I
Like,
think,
because
yeah.
like you lose, you're like,
Well,
Well, I
I
think
think
that's-
she was in there for 4 months.
Well, yeah. See, I think
Yeah.
that's maybe that's kind of another little gripe I have is like at the very beginning when they first go in the forest, we hear they've been in there for 4 days, and they kind of know what's going on, and we already know that because it's like you know they're telling the story back and forth, so we know that she was technically in there for 4 months, but after that 4 days initial thing, we're not really referenced to the fact they've been in there for 4 months at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was no
Yeah.
other blackout scenes.
Yeah, there's no other blackout scenes or like, dang, how long has it been or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
And I
Well, I
get-
mean,
maybe that's kind of the point. Like, this whole thing kind of feels like a dream when they're inside there. But we
there
don't
was
get-
some reference to time because she said whenever they were thinking about going back that it was a 6 days journey back through the jungle or 2 days to the coast and then they could go out.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they knew they were in there for 6 days going one way, but
I think
think
based
that's
on
the
that map
point.
they have, though.
yeah.
But I think it's also the point. It's just the fact that you lose track.
Yeah.
Like at the
Yeah.
very beginning of the movie, she was being asked. She was just like,
She's like,
It
I
felt
don't know,
like
could've been
days.
She's like, it
I
could have been
was there
days, weeks.
maybe a week, maybe a few
She's a
weeks.
few weeks, yeah.
But they were like, but you've been there for 4 months, and she
Yeah.
does. I think that's like the
But
good point. They
I
get.
wish that, I wish they just would have referenced that while she was in there at another point, except for the beginning.
Yeah, that's true.
It also seems like it it distorts time too.
Yeah, I mean that's very obvious.
That's what
I think
I
it's
was
very.
Yeah.
But like, I wish they would have at least given us some kind of hint on, like, how that was happening to them, except for because we get at the very beginning that that's it. Like, we've been here for 4 days already, you know, but they don't know because it doesn't seem like at any point throughout. I don't think at any point throughout the rest of the movie, like, Natalie Portman's character loses sense of time or where they, you know what I mean?
It didn't seem like it.
Beginning. But and okay, one more thing. It's not very. It's not a complaint. It just I wish we would have got more weird animals. Because that was
I do.
Like more creatures.
Well, you see a little bit of that if you think about it. I mean, you got the crocodiles, you see those fish, too, in the water.
I mean,
then
like,
you saw those
more-
weird deers with the antlers. So you saw some.
But I wish there would
mean,
have been more.
Yeah, I
Like-
understand that. But it's
like,
trying to go for that, what Sean said, the Pripyat stalker kind of inspiration where it's just more empty.
we could have got.
So
Well, we could have also gotten something with like one of those soldiers who'd gone mad, and he's like this mutant, like this crawling on all fours. I don't know. I'm thinking stalker here, but
That's
like,
true. Like
something like that. They run into one of the soldiers, but he's like cannibal eating. I don't know. You know, just gone
Or, like,
mad.
we could have gotten another animal that was like had a human, like, as part of this human
form.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like this movie looks a lot, especially whenever they get to the scenes where it's the guys literally turned into flowers.
Yeah.
Like plants. That looks a lot like The Last of Us, and those things look a lot like the zombies in The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just expecting at any time those things were just gonna like come to life and start attacking them. And I have no idea. It just looked creepy.
that would have been interesting.
I'm glad you brought that scene up because that's one of my favorites because the flower people, I like that because that's another point where they reference like the human DNA conforming with the environment around it. You know what I mean? Because she says like the plants have like basically human genome or whatever they call it. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, you know how the plants are growing in human form or whatever. But also,
well, no, you're led to believe those are actually humans. They just transformed into plants.
No, remember
that's
they
how
said plants growing like that.
because that's how Tessa Thompson dies.
Yeah, I know how she becomes that, but Tessa Thompson says also like the plants are actually growing like this.
Oh.
But I think what you just referenced, because Tessa Thompson says, remember she's like, what's the other character's name? Jennifer Jason Leigh's character, Dr. Ventress. She's like, Dr. Ventress is trying to face them, you're trying to fight them, and I'm not trying to do either of those things. And then you see her become part of the forest or whatever.
Yeah.
And I like that because it also foreshadows, because at the very end, Dr. Ventress isn't really fighting it. You know what I mean?
She's not.
She kind of just becomes that thing, and that's when the huge light comes out or whatever. But Natalie Portman actually fights it at the very end, you know? She's trying to get away.
You kind of notice the fate of these characters become what, in the end, deep down, what they either hope or fear the most. Like, obviously, the younger who becomes, plant, like, she that's what she hopes for. She hopes for a peaceful resolve. Natalie Portman's, resolve is to figure out what the hell this thing is. Dr. Ventress, she's just looking for a way to go down.
Yeah.
With a cause. And obviously Rodriguez, Anya, was that her name?
Anya. I think so.
She worries about death. Well, she got it basically from that bear. So I don't know if that's.
I think there's definitely some connections there.
Some connections.
And I think
somewhere.
I think that there are some connections there, obviously, in the movie, but maybe that's another problem. They don't develop enough side characters enough.
You really don't.
To where
you feel bad for them.
To where you feel it as much as you probably should.
I mean, I think the ones that developed the most were the last three alive, were Ventress,
definitely, but
Lena, and Tessa Thompson, because they had that scene on the boat talking about how they were all broken,
Yeah.
But that's basically the only backstory you get to the characters and how you would care about them.
Yeah.
That was like a side character I like. It kind of.
Oh, the nice one.
Yeah, the nice one.
My favorite side character was Tessa Thompson. And,
yeah, me too.
I wish that because early in the movie it seems like they don't get like really sciencey with a lot of the stuff, and there's a decent amount of science stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I just love as much of that as possible, like where they get all really scientific about everything.
Yeah.
They're like trying to explain it, you know.
I think I like the emotional mental, which is what Shepard was able to connect to with Lena Portman's character. Lena, is that it?
Lena, yeah.
I keep forgetting the name. It's bad.
Yeah. Lena.
Okay, Lena. But like the emotional aspect of just being broken, and we saw that with Lena. She obviously cheated on her husband. All that made her feel broken. The fact that her husband was gone, she didn't know what to do with life, everything. And you see that Shepard was able to connect with that. And then you see the aggression side with Rodriguez, who she's obviously a very militaristic, tough chick, which is a side Portman also has. She has that background too. She has the urge to find answers, like that young scientist girl, and then Dr. Ventress.
Yeah, maybe.
But like, it just seems like a reflection of her character
Is in all these other
and
ones.
all these other characters.
That's a good point. I like that.
So like, that's why I kind of like Shepard the most, because Shepard, she talked about her life was pretty broken too. She lost her daughter, and everything. And
yeah, some of that backstory. I like that. I hadn't thought about that. All the side characters have some emotional quality that now
they have and it's the point to reflect of the whole zone is reflecting, right?
I think that's
mirror imaging.
That might be one of the themes of the movie, in terms of like you become partly what your surroundings are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the people you're around or the places you're around, you become that over time. I like that. That's a good theme from the movie.
Yeah.
Because and then we also know, just one more thing, with Rodriguez finally snapping and breaking, we know that, I think they mentioned somewhere, or Lena mentioned somewhere, like she left the military because she couldn't handle it, you know. And that's like, I don't know, to me that's just the kind of feeling I got, was like her self is being reflected in some aspect or another in each of these characters.
Yeah.
And Ventress, in the end, it is to find, just finish it, you know, complete it, get it over with.
Like her goal was to get to the lighthouse, and she gets to the lighthouse.
And so I don't know. It's fun to think of. It's a fun movie to think about.
That's what great sci-fi does. It makes you think about it more. You know what I mean? And you can get a different theme every time you watch it. You know?
And I mean, like, Alex Garland's great with that anyway.
Yeah, Ex Machina.
I feel like it'd be a shame if we didn't talk about Ex Machina a little bit.
Well,
because it feels a lot like, especially the music and the way it makes you feel while watching it is a lot like Ex Machina.
Well, you guys were talking about the score we were coming out, and you're saying how it resembles Blade Runner. I'm not sure. Is this like a synth score or something like that, or it sounds like it, because it does sound. It reminded me of Blade Runner a lot.
It didn't remind me of anything really. It just felt like its own thing, but in such a unique, freaky. But I mean, the ending. It gave me a different tone.
All the lighthouse stuff. There's definitely a synth score or something like that. And
no, it's definitely synth. That ending creepy theme's definitely synth, but it's kind of like the Blade Runner one, but the Blade Runner one's more like mysterious. This one's more like trying to scare you.
Yeah. Blade Runner one's also like more in your face. Yeah.
I know Blade Runner, the visuals of Predator, and the thrill, the tension of Alien.
But I think there's a lot of things. There's like the bear scenes. Maybe Predator. It kind of reminded me of like Jurassic Park too. I know we just watched Jurassic Park, but there's like, you know, the raptor scenes in Jurassic Park. Yeah, the teeth coming out and everything.
God. Okay, one more thing about the bear. Have you noticed it seemed like there was a bear within another bear?
Yeah, the mouth.
And it just seemed like.
That's why I wish we would have got more weird animal mixtures. Because they're saying like, remember that the Dr. Bench is like, is it crossbreeding going on? And she's like, no, that's not possible. But it obviously is like a combination of animals. Because remember the alligator is like combined with a shark or something, or has shark teeth.
Yeah.
Oh man, that alligator was really cool too.
Or what if they're just like evolving so fast that their bodies can't keep up?
Yeah. I also like. I'm so glad. I like how, because you know, in most movies like this, there'll be like some huge animal, and the guns. They'll be like shooting these guns, and the guns obviously don't work, but they keep shooting them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like how the guns actually, hurt these animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just not like, oh, let's shoot these guns for no reason because it's not.
They're not like superpowered animals.
Yeah.
And it felt like the actresses were actually shooting guns because that scene with that, it wasn't like she was actually moving. You see her face wobbling.
Yeah.
It felt like, wow, they're actually shooting stuff and not like, oh wait, there's no reaction, no recoil.
Natalie Portman did really well in this film. Her performance was really, really awesome. It was outstanding.
And I think we should probably wrap it up because it's been an hour already. But I just want to say I like Alex Garland's boldness to go again with the abstract ending of you having to figure out, or you and your mind have to figure out what happens, because Ex Machina ends with
the exact same way.
What's her character's name?
I haven't seen it yet, so don't spoil it.
Oh, I don't want to. Okay, close your ears.
Wow. Okay, Wes.
Okay, close your ears.
Seen it?
Well, at the very end of Ex Machina, I'll just say this. It's very abstract. The end of Ex Machina. It's very similar.
It doesn't. It makes you. It's like you went on the journey with these people and you don't know how to feel about the ending.
Yeah.
That's what it's like, and that's kind of how this one's like too.
Yeah. So let's just end it right. I feel like we could talk about this movie forever, and I think that's one of the signs of a good science fiction movie.
I think we will.
But yeah. Let's give our ratings and final thoughts. Whoever wants to go.
Alright. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give, to start, I'm gonna say I get Arrival is probably my top 3 sci-fi movies, and I gave that a 5-star. And I'm giving this movie a 4.5 star. I really enjoyed it. If you like if sci-fi is by any mean in any subgenre of sci-fi, like, you need to go watch this movie. It's fantastic. If you like Blake said, Ex Machina or Arrival or the Alien and the Predator movies, yeah, I mean, you have to watch this movie. It's really good. There were a couple problems, as people have mentioned. That's probably why it's not a 5-star for me. But visually, it looked really well. I wish there would have been more, like, just interesting and imaginative creatures, like you said, Danny. But overall, it was a fantastic movie. So my rate's a 4.5. Weston, you want to go next?
All right. I was very intrigued by this film, and it surprised me. Just to mention with the animals, yeah, sure, I guess you could have seen more, but I think there was just enough just to get the point across. It's not like you need to see multiple scenes of all these beautiful creatures. And plus, knowing that it's more like a stalker kind of thing, so it's almost like a Chernobyl kind of style where it's pretty empty while having some weird creatures that are out of the ordinary. So I think it works well. I think there's just the right amount. Overall, I love the story. I love the characters. And I know there's problems, or maybe if you look at it in a sense, it's like, okay, why didn't they done this or that? And it's like, yeah, I guess it could have, but then we want to get the whole point of going into the, what do you call it? What's the thing called again?
The
shimmer.
The shimmer. And so just going through that, knowing and not only just seeing what the place looks like or looking at the creatures, but it also adds to the story as well. So yeah, I guess it could have gone to the beach, or whatever, but I'm giving it 5 stars. Like this is why I love films like this. I love these kind of sci-fi films. They're always unique in their own way. While they sure they can borrow some aspects of things, like maybe more the formula. The formula and all that of like other kind of sci-fi films, but the overall like plot and the overall theme, the overall meaning, and especially those that ends with what you interpret or what you think it all means. I love that. So, and I think a lot of it's just minor issues for me, and I don't know. I love this film so much. I love the tone. I love the so I'm giving it 5 stars. I loved it.
What about you, Richie?
I thought it was great.
Yeah, I really liked it too. I don't know if it's a 5. I'd say probably 4.5, just because there were a couple things that maybe like some of the flashbacks. It was a little
unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
Yeah. I can give you that.
Yeah, I think if they would maybe this is just like kind of nitpicking, but I just didn't think it was a completely perfect movie. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a couple things like when they were inside the world. I think it would be cooler if they explored it a little bit more.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
They do kind of skim over some things, but overall it's really good.
Like, I would have loved to have seen just how vast the space is, but it never really showed like any sort of like dimensions of the shimmer.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess someone could say, well, that's left to your imagination.
It did kind of feel claustrophobic in some cases. Yeah. So, yeah.
I guess if they were to do a TV series over it, there would be so much more. But
definitely, no, they definitely could. But it would. I bet it would be a lot like an alien version of Lost.
But I think what Weston said earlier about like the Chernobyl aspect is, I think it's like it's not supposed to be like this luscious world where there's a lot of creatures. It's kind of just like here and there scattered. You know what I mean? Because this thing is
it's dark and
yeah.
But we don't know how far away here and there is.
Yeah.
Like the only real thing we have is that they say it's like an 8-day walk from one side to the other.
But we don't know really like how many.
But that 8 days could be 4 months.
So that's true. They say it's like a 6-day walk or whatever, but we don't know what time is.
But
like
she
in the
was
shimmer.
in there for 4 months, so I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Because she says, remember, she says something like it's a 2-day walk to the coast or whatever, and it seems like in the movie's timeline, she gets to the coast in around 2 days.
Yeah.
So in their heads, they've been there for what, a total of maybe 10 days at the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, you add on the 4 days that they spent doing whatever, the 6 days that they were actually conscious walking towards the lighthouse, and then
so that's 10 to 12
2
days.
days, yeah.
You can say around there, but then B wants us 4 months, so you can't really trust their timeline.
Yeah.
What they're seeing. So.
Well, who wants to go next?
You want to give your rating?
Yeah. So basically, America had its Chernobyl incident in this one, and I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, I like the whole concept of mutation, lockdown, quarantine areas, and not what a lot of, especially American audience today, they love zombie stuff, but this isn't that. It isn't a quarantine area. It isn't a blocked off area because of people have gone mad and start eating each other. But no, it's simply something that just cannot be easily explained, and it's more isolated. It's more abandoned than anything. We could assume there might have been more life in that area, but it probably either A, couldn't make it due to the
changing conditions.
It's almost like a parallel universe in another way too.
Yeah.
Of what that world is of what that area was and now what it is.
Because remember that he's like, was it destroying everything? And she's like, no, it was more changing it.
It's like a being playing God in its own realm.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's a good
and
point. Changing what it wanted to change.
That's why I was really thinking, maybe he was just like, it could be as simple as the fact he was just a bored alien. Wasn't really impressed. Wasn't really impressed with our world, our species. And he's just like,
let's just change it.
Let's just change it, guys.
We're just
now I'm going to add a little, hey, you see this? Let's add some crystal trees on the beachhead. You know, let's spice this thing up a bit, you know?
Yeah.
But overall, the only part I didn't care for, like with Richie, was the flashbacks. Especially with the scene with her cheating on her husband. Like, I don't get why Maybe it's just.
Yeah,
I think
didn't
they
really
showed
add
it
much.
twice. It's like, what was the point of that?
That didn't
I think
really add much to the story.
Well, the movie's trying to say she's like a broken person.
That's
too,
true.
you know?
That's
but,
true. But like,
But showing
to
it
do-
twice was like, what?
What was it? Twice or 3 times when they showed it?
Twice.
Twice.
And
Okay.
But it just feels kind of cheap the way they do. I mean, Yeah.
I felt like they could have gone about it in a different perspective.
yeah.
Like her having a conversation, like when he stopped her in the college at first. Like, what couldn't it have been an extended conversation of him saying your husband would know something, and then she's like, and then it could have been something as simple as that, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
can we?
We can hold off.
Right, I'll hold on.
Alright, Blake.
So I'll go back.
All right, I'll go. I just want to preface this by saying Alex Garland is like, it's kind of amazing what he's done with his first 2 movies and how they're so good. Like, I mean,
He's a writer.
yeah, he's a writer. I mean, he wrote Ex Machina, he wrote 28 Days Later, Dread, Sunshine,
He wrote
all these
Dredd.
other movies. Yeah, he wrote Dread. He's written all these great sci-fi movies already, and then
Oh,
he just
Sunshine.
transferred that. Yeah, and they
I've
just
seen
transferred
Sunshine
that.
like a month or 2 ago, and I can definitely see some of the similarities of like the weirdness, especially. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys need to watch that film. That's another one that'll make you just go like, what?
So, anyways,
Was
Blake.
Sunshine based on another old movie? Is that Sunshine?
Oh, what? Did
Uh,
they play that trailer in theaters? Sunshine?
I don't know. That came
No,
out in
but
2007.
that's the thing. Like 28 Days Later is
Yeah, that's
a take on zombies that is just amazing also, and it's just like, just everything he's done so far has been kind of spectacular, and I'm excited to see what he does next. And I'm gonna give this movie a 4.5 also, even though I did have a problem with just whenever I was thinking about it more, I was like, I could see how they could do this differently, but also it would make a good movie, so I don't care that much.
Yeah.
So I'll end it, I guess.
Well, Sean
And Sean's
Sauce, yeah.
right.
Oh yeah, Sean, I think it was rating. Do you want to give your rating? Do you have it?
Do you need to think about it more?
Yeah.
You don't have to give it today, but if you want to keep thinking about it, it doesn't matter.
It's gonna be obviously between a 4.5 or a 5. So I can't really
3,
decide.
2.
And you can say it right now.
I'm
and you can
more
change it
lenient
tomorrow
for
if you want, it's fine.
4.5.
Alright, if you change it tomorrow, I mean, no one's gonna hurt you.
Obviously not.
No one
Just-
will if you change
But
it.
but I think it's a good point to also press to you guys, to the rest of y'all watching this, that it's a fun movie to think about, and the acting was phenomenal. The cinematography, especially near the end, was just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
Especially
definitely a
on the
movie you
beach.
should watch more than once to understand it.
Yeah,
I think
kind of like Arrival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's another thing about sci-fi. I just love this sci-fi genre when it's done well, because, I mean, you guys all know how much of a fan of Kubrick I am. But the first time I watched 2001, I didn't even give it 5 stars. So, and now I regret that. But I mean, that's part of good sci-fi. Like, you might not get it right. It might not click with you right away. It might never click with you. Who knows? But like, there's nothing wrong with watching a movie again and having a different experience.
Blade Runner cough.
Yeah, Blade Runner 2. Yeah, Blade Runner, the first time I watched it, I thought it was kind of boring,
You
and then
know,
I
these
liked it.
past 5 years or something like that, we've been getting like such awesome sci-fi films, kind of like what we've been getting during the late 1900s, like the Blade Runner films, or
Blade Runner was 80s.
well 80s, yeah. And then you got Close Encounters, you got Star Wars. There's other sci-fi films. Sci-fi films in the 80s were pretty awesome, and it looks like we're coming back to that too. And I love how they're more psychological, and it's.
Yeah.
I think sci-fi has always been awesome, no matter what generation it is or what.
That should be the worrying. That should be the worrying part. With the whole people aren't going to come watch these movies, because then we might not get them. Because sci-fi does take they're saying Ex Machina, that's good sci-fi, but it's not visually like as good as this,
Yeah.
But Ex Machina was cheaper to make. This one costs, I think I read, $55 million, which is not that much compared to like a superhero movie these days or anything. But they're saying like that was too much for the studio. They might lose money on.
But
That's how-
imagine how good a sci-fi movie would be if they got like the $250+ million budgets that superhero movies get.
The only director that can do that is Nolan. That's the only one. because people
No.
become-
Blade Runner 2049 got 190 million. And that's
Yeah, I
as
know.
close as we're gonna get, and they're not gonna do that again. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's my point exactly. Like, you want a sci-fi movie as beautiful as 2049 that doesn't cater to like a general audience. Well, I mean, that you get
Outside of us,
and people don't go watch it.
All right, Danny, what's your rate?
My rating is also 4.5, and I think my only I could honestly see myself with future watchings giving it a 5, but I think right now my problem is I don't think we're emotionally invested with the characters enough to when they die where I really felt
I would
it.
agree. Yeah.
Even Natalie Portman's character, I don't feel like I'm emotionally involved with her as much as I should be. And I think the flashback scenes kind of like want you to do that, or like the scenes with her husband and stuff, but it didn't really click with me.
But do we need to be emotionally invested in this kind of movie though?
Not really.
Like
you're
lot.
spending
Like we don't need like your typical like, you know what I'm saying? Like this kind of movie is kind of like not that kind of focus.
I do like that they emphasize the world over the characters.
No, that's
the world and the weird aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't think you're supposed to feel anything when they die?
Yeah, but at least you understand the meaning of their deaths. Well, except that crazy chick. I mean, even then she died by.
Yeah.
Kind of like what the overall whole point of the
I mean,
film
if you don't
is
have.
that.
That's fair. That's a fair
Well,
point.
our official rate for Annihilation is a 4.6 or a 4.5.
4.6.
4.58. So you guys should definitely go watch it.
It's a must.
Yes, go watch it for sure. Please go support movies like this. Because
Please.
And support our
They need
YouTube
it.
channel.
Garland deserves it.
Yeah.
These kind of movies need attention.
It's one of those. If you see his name on a movie, you should get excited to go watch it.
All right.
But I think
Anything
that's
else
it.
anyone wants to add?
Coming out of this movie, we're probably gonna go long because it's one of those movies. We were really excited about it. But
how long
all
have
right.
you going?
Close us out. Wiley, you want to close us out?
Yeah, sure. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed and have a good
night.
That's all. That's all. We're gonna panda. We're gonna panda. She's like, who's